Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for all.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
We're starting a little late. We had some technical difficulty on the Zoom. I see a lot of people have gotten it through it, no problem, and are logged on. I hope we're not missing anybody that's trying to get on. Are there any phone numbers up there that we need into the minutes?
We have one that she knows.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, from there, let's go ahead and move forward with approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Lance, it does look like the auditor's office is still getting calls about the meeting.
Well, we will go ahead and keep this delayed so everybody has a chance to get on. So if we would like to recess for
15 minutes?
15 minutes,
Sure.
Okay,
I'd make a motion to recess.
I'll second it.
it's been moved and seconded to recess so everybody has an opportunity to be able to log in with the change that's out there. And we will come back at 9:20.
Sounds good.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries for recess. (9:20). Let's go ahead and reconvene the meeting. I have two phone numbers on here that I need to confirm for the minutes. One ending in 9441.
It's Jess Sheridan.
Okay.
Hi, Jess.
Hi.
Happy vacation.
Another one, I have a Michael A. I need to confirm who you are for the minutes. You should be able to unmute yourself, I believe. Well, we can come back to that one again. Is that all the numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is 9:21, and we'll go ahead and do our second consideration of the amendment, Article 23 of ordinance number 29 as modified by the Board of Supervisors.
I'd make a motion to approve the second reading of Article 23 of Ordinance 29.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Would anybody be willing to go back to 3 times the distance as recommended by the zoning board?
I believe it's already in there. It's the half mile or the 3 times. So if something should happen, the 3 times is in there. The other discussion item I was going to bring up in the discussion was just to reiterate the importance of knowing that there are 2 means of relief. You can get a waiver from property owners or landowners, and those can be obtained, or they can contest to the variance board. So there are 2 ways of, getting around any regulations or things that people individually want to do.
Okay.
And I agree with BJ.
Okay. Any other discussion? No more discussion. Roll call.
BJ,
Aye.
Renee,
Aye.
Lance,
Aye. Motion carries. Next is set time and date for the final consideration and adoption of the amendment to Article 23, ordinance number 29 as modified by the Board of Supervisors.
After conferring with council, I would set the date of June 23rd, 2020, 9:01 a.m. in the Hardin County Courthouse boardroom, or July 23rd, 2020, 9:01 a.m. in the large conference room of the Hardin County Courthouse or via Zoom.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Did you say 9:01?
Yes.
It's been moved and seconded for July 23rd, large conference room at 9:01 of 2020. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
BJ,
Aye.
Renee,
Aye.
Lance.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is approval of the minutes of 7/8 of 2020.
I'd move the minutes from July 8th, 2020 as presented.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Now I have is the approval of claims for payment of 7/15/2020.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 15th, 2020 claims for payment.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Utility permits, I did not have one. Secondary roads.
Nothing really to report.
Okay. Now we have is a resolution for the road.
Yes. So this is for our new road that we just established, was that a week ago, 2 weeks ago? So we called it GG Avenue. We built it to bypass a bridge over the South Fork. And the landowners would like it to just become a level C road, which would have a gate, and they'd be the only ones with access to it. So all three landowners signed a petition, so I'm bringing it to you guys to set a public hearing for it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to approve the road classification request for public hearing, and for the hearing to be set for August 5th, 2020 at 10:01 a.m. in the large conference room of the Hardin County Courthouse.
Do we want to take it to 9:01? I didn't think about that.
Yeah, 9:01 a.m.
I will second that.
So the motion is August 5th, 9:01 a.m. in the large conference room or via Zoom, depending whether we're open or not. Is there any discussion? I think it's good that it's going to Class C. That takes us back off our hands right away.
Pretty much.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
BJ,
Aye.
Renee,
Aye.
Lance.
Aye. Motion carries. Next we have is a tax payment, the Ellsworth Neighborhood Investment Group. I don't have the information on it. Has anybody gotten it? None.
Put it on next week.
Okay.
So table till next week. Do I have that motion?
I'll make a motion to table the tax abatement for Ellsworth Neighborhood Investment Group until next week's meeting.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
And it's just the last remaining parcel, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing no more, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next we have is change of status for supervisors.
I'd make a motion to approve the discharge reassignment of the safety coordinator position, removing that from Mindy McClelland's duties effective July 1st, 2020.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? She's done a good job. It just wasn't a good fit for the office and it's been asked that it be removed. But Mindy has been doing a good job.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion? Hearing no more, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. I have another change of status from us, Board of Supervisors.
Okay. I'd make a motion to hire Michael Pierce as the county safety coordinator. It'll be added to Michael's current job responsibilities effective July 1st, 2020.
And I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
There's no salary or rate at this point. Michael's supervisor will evaluate and come back to us with a change of status once a dollar amount can be established according to the amount of work and technical work being done.
Right, and I think that's fair, because at this point, neither Michael nor I know what it's gonna take. I think it's fair that he'd be compensated for it, because it's not taking away from his IT duties, it's adding more duties to them. But at this point, we just don't know what we don't know, so we wanna take a little while to investigate and get back to you on that.
Okay.
Nope, that's great. Any other discussion? Hearing no more, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Now I have is a change of status in economic development.
I will make a motion to increase the rate of pay for Angela De La Riva, the Economic Development Director, to $60,650.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I would concur with Renee after Angela's performance review, which I legally can't go into the details of that, and looking at the salary surveys, I believe that is fair compensation.
Okay, any other comments? Any other discussion? Hearing no more, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next I have is a change of status of the economic, environmental, health, and zoning.
I would make a motion to approve the change of status for Jessica Sheridan, Environmental Health and Zoning Administrator, to a salary of $45,000 annually.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Again, after performance reviews and looking at salary surveys from other entities and people performing the same duties, I think that the change is justified. I also think that it might be a little short at this point, but I would like to reevaluate it in 6 months.
I would agree with that, because I know since Micah's left, she's also taken on a lot of other responsibilities that Micah had,
Right.
on top of her regular job duties. So I would like to.
Yeah, and I just want
Come
to do
back
this
to this again.
incrementally. Yep.
All right.
I'll agree with that. Any other discussion? Hearing no more, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next I have is a change of status on the property manager.
I would make a motion to increase the property manager salary to $73,000. You know, we do have a second person now that's able to, or that is working with Jody. I do know Jody was given a bump during the year we were putting the HVAC system in. So at this point, I would increase it to $73,000.
Okay, I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Again, performance reviews are very telling, and I think Attorney Galloway has reinforced with all of our department heads, including us, that those should be the basis of how we compensate our employees. And so I'm very comfortable with that. I also have done some individual research, just because property manager is described different ways in different counties.
Right.
And there isn't a single person that you can't compare Marshall County's property manager to ours, and it's just, you can't compare apples to apples. And so looking at that, I would concur. I mean, I think that's a fair compensation, Renee.
I would just like to add to that, with this COVID that has kicked in, the extra duties and responsibilities of him and his staff of coming in and disinfecting more and more. And in that aspect, yes,
And I think that's going to become the norm
I
for
believe it
quite
will
some
be the
time
norm.
for both of those employees.
Any other discussion? Hearing no more, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is change of status, Sheriff's Office.
First, I would make a motion to approve the promotion of Sophia Lucas. She's a dispatcher in the Sheriff's Office at a rate of $17.26 an hour, effective July 25th, 2020.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Sheriff's Office.
I'll make a motion to approve the change of status for Emma Lee Inks. She's a new hire, permanent part-time as a correctional officer, at $16.48 an hour.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Starting on the 15th today.
Yes. Yes.
Any other discussion? Hearing no more, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next we have is COVID-19 update.
So again, been another busy week. We've been working on getting PPE, did some more, did another healthcare call yesterday. Most of the facilities are getting their PPE in, but we have been purchasing PPE. We have a stock that we'll be able to get to those. It's an up and down. The supply chain is like this week they can get a box. Next week they might get 2. It's kind of all over the board. The other thing that is going on is Rocky is working from public health side. She's working with the schools on the reopening of the schools and their return to, I think they call it the return to learning plan. Trying to get their plans and what they're doing to mitigate the spread of COVID as students return to school in the fall. And then I've had several discussions with a couple of groups on what their plans are for being able to hold their events. One I just met last Saturday with Smoky Ridge Muzzle Loaders Club, I think it was, and had the discussion with them on Saturday about what it would look like if they do their rendezvous on Labor Day weekend. Looks like they're going to go ahead, but there'll be a lot of increased hygiene and sanitation stuff there. Other than that, it's just more COVID and grants. I have 3 grants going right now under the COVID process, so working on that.
Sounds good. Thank you. Next we have is discuss with possible action on, or does anybody else have any more questions on COVID?
I don't.
Okay. Discuss possible action on purchase of
So this one,
alibi.
this one I'm actually going to defer and throw Matt under the bus and ask him to come talk about this. Him and I have had the discussion on this device and how it works, and he has a little more understanding on it than I do, so I'd like him to address those because there's some HIPAA compliance issues and some security issues with it. So I'm going to yield my time. Thank you.
Yeah, and I apologize. I was on vacation last week, so I didn't read a lot of the information about this. I was also concerned that there would be HIPAA compliance issues with it. After review, Michael and I went through yesterday and reviewed a bunch of the training videos. The install logs are just their criteria for the hardware. It stores no information on the public. So the public comes in, it verifies if they have a mask on or not, if you have that requirement, and that's it. If you don't have a mask on and you have the requirement box checked, it'll say, please put on a mask. It checks your temperature via your wrist from a distance. So you don't have to touch the unit. Nothing about it you have to touch, sign, or anything. Okay, so for the public's sake, it is just a pass-fail. You can go in, you can't go in. There is recording ability in the unit, but it is for employee-based only. Should we decide to go through it and set it up with our employees and a photo, I would step up to it. It would take my picture with a mask or without a mask, verify my temperature, say, imagine it's an employee, he's granted access. So it basically has a couple different functions, but none of it violates any type of HIPAA. There's no storage. We can't go back through this device later and say, hey, XYZ entered the building on the 15th and had contact with so many people in time. That is not what this device is for. This is a step 1 pass fail. You can enter, you can't enter device. So, which I think for the court system and their requirements were a little bit more stringent than ours. This is something that we need and would fill a gap for us.
No, thank you.
Any questions?
I have a comment. American Packaging at Story City has, I don't know what you're looking at, but I went through trying to get in there. I had no temperature, all that stuff, I was okay. But they have a full-time person next to that machine, simply because it doesn't always work. If you come in from outside and it's 102 degrees, your temperature is elevated. There's got to be somebody there. So if you're going to install this, there will be some additional stuff. And they also print out a little green tag that says you went through the machine. You put on your shirt so that when you guys are looking at them, you know whether they snuck by or they didn't.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll have somebody at the front door.
Right, and the door's locked, so they already can't get entry unless the security allows them through, which is a great bonus of having that person there. So.
Thomas?
And the other part of that is that we already have the system that anybody coming in has to have the tag. So you have to have an appointment, you have to have a tag, and the court system is also going to that. Tina, the clerk of court, her last name, Tina Ganzabeld, has already emailed, and we're going to give them 20 tags, and they'll be using that for both those that need to go to court, for those that are going to happen, and also for the clerk of court, for the number that they can take at the clerk of court's office. So nobody will get in without a colored badge on.
Okay. I know we had a couple concerns about going ahead with this, but we would have to have some policy put in place before we start implementing it, so it's very clear. So other than that, I think that covered it all. Unless you guys have questions. Yeah. So from an action, what do you think?
I would make a motion that we purchase the alibi detection module. And I believe in past, I think we need to purchase 3 of those. One for the courthouse use, one for county office building, and I believe one for the sheriff's department. Was that?
I don't know what Dave,
Yeah, I haven't talked to Dave about that because the sheriff's office is, the sheriff's office and even the administration building are both kind of locked down. And even in the administration building, obviously you can still move through that. But at the sheriff's office, even if the public comes in, they don't go past the door anyway. They talk to the clerk, the secretary there.
Receptionist.
So they don't go into the office. So it still would be an idea to have it there so that people know whether or not they can conduct business. And then the staff at the sheriff's office would know if you were there for an appointment, no, you can't come past the door because you got a high temperature.
So we would be purchasing 3.
Lynn Adams is on as well. Daryl, you're here. What do you think?
Well,
Go ahead and unmute Lynn too.
you've already been asked about the cost on chat too. If someone wants to address that or not.
Isn't it 2,000
I think-
a piece?
Yeah, I
that's
think it was
what's listed
2,000
there.
a piece, and then it would be covered under the grant, so we
Yes.
would be reimbursed for the majority of that.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you know what the percent? You're between 75 and 80.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 80, between 80 and 90 actually.
Between 80 and
Under
90%
federal-
reimbursement.
Under federal PA, it's 75% federal, 15% state, and 10% local. So that would make it a 90%.
so $200 per unit approximately.
Yes.
I mean, we'd have to pay for them up front.
Yes.
Right.
And then
Yes.
we get reimbursed.
All right. Daryl, go ahead.
Well, I don't know, but I'm just speaking for the building, the county
Right.
building.
Okay.
We could probably, I guess I'd like to see how this thing works over here first. If it seems to be successful and whatever bugs may have to be worked out, I'd rather see it, tried over here first before we acquire one for the county building. As Thomas said, we've got the secured entryway anyway, and the courthouse does too. But I think we've successfully been able to manage the kind of traffic. Most of ours is by appointment, not all of it, but we can control that a little bit more. And with the mental health services, there's additional privacy issues, and because we are dealing with victims and things in our building as well. We have, I think our practices over there right now, I think we feel are adequate. Lynn can speak for himself, but I'd rather just see one purchased and see how that works out. And if that's successful, then, and if there's still a need, then consider getting additional units, but that's just my opinion.
Are people still coming in the back door for the food shelf?
They're
People come in and out?
They're coming to the door, but they aren't coming in.
Okay.
They're being served
Alright.
at
Yeah,
the
okay,
threshold.
okay.
Go ahead.
Is there any chance that the grant runs out and we don't get compensated for these if we buy them later? Or will this go on for a while?
We haven't been given an end date yet at all. There's been no talk about an end date on this public assistance yet.
So we won't lose funding if we wait buy one in 3 months.
Well, I mean, I can't say that we wouldn't be running that problem at 3 months, but I think currently we could say that we're safe for another month or two.
Well, even if you bought two and didn't deploy both, but you had one as a backup, and then if we decided it's working so well, we really think we should probably use it, one in the office building as well. I mean, if there's a concern that some of the funding is gonna be lost if we don't act sooner than later. I mean, just throwing that out there, that maybe buying a couple, one as a backup, if you want to deploy both of them right away.
So did you recommend getting one for the sheriff's office then?
I would not recommend that at this point. Again, it's through a glass, it's through a mic system. They don't even have the hole in the glass like the offices upstairs have. All they have is a place for a piece of paper to slide under.
But aren't they allowing visitors for the inmates now?
Yeah.
Are we allowing visitors in? So that would,
By appointment only. Just call and schedule the visits ahead of time.
yes.
The sheriff.
Which is what we do. I mean, we do that here, and it's by appointment only, and we're putting one in. So that's why I understood, I mean, I think that's what everybody's doing. So that's why I understood it
So-
for
Throw this out
last
there, but they have that whole
conversation.
manual temperature taking station set up in the Sally Port for employees and for
Oh, they do?
detainees, and this might be a great way to make
Oh.
that actually legit. I mean, to me, seem a little bit more professional, and we're not all touching the same
Oh,
devices, and,
yeah, I didn't know about that.
yeah, so I think that might take more discussion with Dave to find out.
I'd go ahead with the 3 then.
Okay, so to clarify my motion, I would make a motion to purchase 3 of the alibi detection modules.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I asked Lynn if he wanted to speak. I don't know if he still
He's
did.
just joining back in.
Thomas?
I would suggest that with this being the system that it is, that we work on making the policy so that all the employees come through, they get their information in there, and then we know absolutely and firmly that when you came in the door this morning, you checked in, you had your temperature taken, and you're free to go.
Yep,
Which would
I'll work
eliminate
with
the employee entrance.
That would eliminate the employee entrance, but it also goes to we know when they come in the door,
Right.
they're being,
Screened.
screened rather than, I mean, you don't know if I took my temperature this morning or not.
Right.
I mean, I do, because it's
I
like
do
a
too, but-
religious thing now.
yeah.
It's like,
Mhm.
Daryl, I'm gonna chime in when it comes to the policy. We'll put something together before we implement this, is
Yeah.
where I would leave it at.
yes.
I agree.
Any other discussion?
How many people a day are you anticipating will buy these 3 machines?
Say it again.
How many people per day are you anticipating will go buy 3 machines?
On a court day, court service day, where we have multiple hearings, you're probably gonna have, I think, maybe 50 or more just for court purposes.
We run about 80 people a day coming in and out that are visitors in and out of the doors of the courthouse. I don't know how many people are in and out of the administration building. The employees, if we're doing it over at the jail and the employees are using the same station for a temperature check, and the inmates, then they're also doing the inmates coming in, and they're also doing the deputies that are transporting those inmates coming in, so that it'd be huge to the jail in having it done immediately.
My
Just
question is,
catching one bad one to make it worthwhile.
my question is it going to be a bottleneck? What is the bottleneck?
No.
It can do 30 people a minute.
Yeah, you can do 30 people a minute.
Any other discussion?
Would you like to hear from Lynn? He is back in the meeting.
Lynn, did you have any comments on it? Not hearing any. Why don't, I'll call for the vote.
Well, did you second?
I did.
Oh, you did, okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Let's go ahead and unmute all, give them the capability to make public comments.
All right, should be able to unmute themselves. No one's-
Are there any public comments? I'll ask again for public comments. Any other business? Oh, yeah, Floyd, I'm sorry.
And then I do have other business.
I don't know if this is the right time or not. This is kind of a show and tell. I know
Can
you're
you
aware.
Come up to the podium first, too.
I don't know whether you're aware, and you may have had a lot of comments, but the stone that they put down on the roads has a very high percentage.
Maybe he's here somewhere.
Okay. Has a very high percentage of what's called shirt. To us, it's called cement. I live on a gravel road. I don't know what the county engineer, what the specifications are. But I picked this up out in front of my road. My road is, and I'm on 290th Street. This one came out of one of my tires. They really, and I talked to Eldora Tire, they're having a real increase in business, which I think is pretty good stuff. But what I don't know is what our specifications are through the engineering department, highway engineering.
Taylor, I'm going to have you address that answer.
Yep, there's no requirement against, that type of rock. It's mainly based on a size and a hardness is pretty much how we test it. And we pay the quarry for it. We test it every now and then. Things can slip through the cracks, obviously, and I don't know. I mean, some of the, that one's small enough to fit through. I mean,
Well, there's a whole, this is the end of my drive. This was just the end of my driveway.
I agree, but
I don't
we
know that there's
can't
anything-
cherry pick just small little round rocks out either. I mean, we pay them for 90,000 tons, and I don't know.
Well, I don't either.
I don't know a right
Just make
answer. I
it
mean, we're gonna have to pay
Yeah.
3 times as much if you want to start cherry picking stuff to only be
What?
tiny little rocks, and then a tiny little rock won't work when we have a muddy year like last year.
So why is it different this year than it was last year? What's changed? Is it the quarrying operation or the purchasing process?
Just the quarry.
Different veins.
Correct,
of
different
rock.
veins. Yes, it's always different. They're always breaking into a new vein.
That's
And I thought last year was worse. I haven't heard of a tire complaint this year. This is the first one, and it's, mid-July. Last year was constant.
Really.
But we knew we were putting big stuff down last year because we had no choice.
Well, building the base, I know when you
Right,
and I
right.
went out several times.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of my public comment.
Thanks,
All right,
Floyd.
thank you, Floyd.
Let's move on to, are there any other public comments? I didn't have any earlier, but hearing no more public comments, let's go to other business.
I would like to let people know that I had several complaints or concerns about the use of courthouse grounds without permitting. And, we have a policy and, if we're not going to require permits, let's just get rid of it. But if we are, we need to enforce it. So I told my constituents I would bring it to the full board's attention and to the county attorney's attention. And so I'm doing that, hoping we can work to resolve that issue.
Okay. Any comments?
I guess I would,
Bring it back next week?
yeah.
Whatever. I mean, it's.
I don't
it's
know
not
what
actionable
legally we
today.
can do. I
Right.
guess I would have to defer to
Exactly.
Daryl on that. So that'd be something we have a conversation or he can maybe look into for us.
Yeah, or fine tune what we call our permit
Right.
as to what we're trying to accomplish by having a permit. Is it so people can set up and have a station? I mean, I'd have to look at the permit.
Right.
I
Yeah.
believe that's what it was for.
Yep.
Obviously, we can't keep everybody from doing a 5-minute walk around or something like that,
Right.
but maybe we can.
Yeah. I think all I'm doing is bringing the
Yep.
concerns from the constituency to the board, to the county attorney. That's it.
Oh, that's
And a
fine.
fine line between requiring a permit and also that it is publicly owned ground.
Right. In
Um,
public assembly.
Yes.
Yep. And that's where I just need
But
to
you're right.
come from the people that contacted me to get that clarity from our legal team. That way we're all on the same page. I
Right.
mean,
Well, let's
I agree.
have Daryl, I hate to throw it on you, but let's have you look at our permitting process, see if there's something we need to tweak in there.
Sounds good.
Thank you. That's all I have, Lance.
Any other business? Hearing no more, I can ask for adjournment or recess.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Adjourn.